Day 1 strength training routine consists of 4 exercises, which you're going to split into 2 pairs. You have 2 exercises or 2 mini circuits. First exercise is vertical jumps, which if you've been following along, you know I believe are very important or very valuable speed development exercise. Puts our body in a very functional position, teaches the muscles, very sport-specific muscular teamwork, teaches the muscles to extend all together at once, very explosively, very fast. So to get started, I'm going to load my hips back, I'm going to bend my knees in this position. From the front, you'll see that my knees bow out slightly, not collapsed in. Knees always slightly bowed out. I want to start and land in that position. Okay, so to get my starting position, I'm going to bend my knees, stick my butt back, load my arms back, jump, and then land in that athletic position. Butt back, knees out, arms loaded, jump, land in that athletic position. Next, a shoulder injury prevention, more specifically a shoulder overhead organization exercise. Okay. This is to teach your athletes not just to aimlessly strengthen the rotator cuff, scapular muscles, or core, but to teach those muscles how to work together in what's the most stable overhead position. Very important for overhead athletes, especially pitchers in this case. You're going to get on one knee. You're going to demonstrate and generally explain what's going on, and then we'll get into some details. Okay. Bar in front of me, in front of my chin. I'm going to start in this half kneeling or kneeling position, but digging my back toes into the ground. Here I'm going to press up over my head, and then I'm going to try to rotate my armpits forward. Shove your armpits, okay, which most people they'll be facing that way, okay, outward. I want to take them and rotate them around my body. A cue is to bend the bar, okay? Rotate your armpits forward and try to bend the bar forward. So, as you're pressing up overhead, bar close, dig my back toes into the ground, press up, dig my back toes into the ground and bend the bar. Shove the armpits forward and come down. Press and bend. Press to the ceiling, armpits forward, and down. Press, bend the bar, armpits forward, and down. Much more difficult than it looks. You're going to do a set of 5 or 6 presses with that bar bend, and then you're going to switch which leg is forward. Again, always be active with the lower body. Dig the back toes into the ground. It's a very specific overhead organization exercise. That's the first 2, vertical jumps and the PVC or broomstick press and bend. Next 2 is a dumbbell goblet squat, which I've included in the past as a staple for lower body strength development. I have a 40-pound dumbbell. Please go heavy, but don't go heavier than, don't go too heavy so your form breaks down. Right? But a 5, 10, 15-pound dumbbell is not going to get the job done for nearly any athlete. It's important that if you can, get to the gym, get to a place where you have access to some heavier dumbbells, all right, and just follow along with the directions because it's relatively a simple exercise. It puts our body in a very safe position, especially if you use a box or something to sit toward. You're going to pick up the dumbbell and you're going to start with your hands underneath the plates. Elbows together, feet about shoulder width apart. Just like the jump, you're going to bow your knees out, sit your butt back to the box, touch the box, stand back up at the top, you're going to squeeze your butt. Bow your knees out, sit your butt back to the box, touch the box, squeeze your butt at the top. Dumbbell goblet squat. You don't need a box if your form is solid. You can even go a little bit lower than I was. But box gives you a good target to keep your form in check. Next, standing band rotation. Again, guys, it's really valuable that you've followed month to month because you've heard the explanation really, or the principles behind each exercise, and you'll know when I talk about core training or what type of core training is really most valuable or most specific to a softball athlete. You know that exercises should first work on like total body stability and linkage to even develop that general capacity. But most importantly, you should use exercise that demonstrate the capacity to separate segments, specifically the top and bottom half of the body. Okay? Ownership. Can you control one half, say the bottom, like we will in this exercise, a stable base while rotating simply through the upper body? We don't want this exercise. You don't want to rotate the entire body all together. All right? You're going to work much more. You're going to isolate much more of your trunk musculature if you do that. We're going to set up in a wide stance, almost a fielding or a wide batting stance. Knees are driven out. Do not collapse in. This is inactive. Okay, glutes are off. Knees are in a very unsafe position. Okay, I'm going to drive my knees out. I'm going to stick my butt back to a very strong position. From the side, joint angles are going to look as such. Butt back, straight line ideally from my head through my butt. Right, knees driven out, feet driven, pressed out against the floor. With my arms straight now, you can use a cable weight stack and a similar attachment, a rope, a handle, whatever you can to replicate this exercise. I'm using an exercise band here. If you're on our site, go to our store, it's the Cook band under our store. Okay? All right, knees driven out, feet wide, arms straight as can be. Just going to rotate my shoulders, peel this front shoulder back. Right, as my lower body does not move, I keep, specifically, focal point is to keep this knee driven out or back. The side of the kneecap here and this shoulder are going in opposite directions. If you had a string connecting this shoulder and this knee, you're trying to stretch that string or stretch that rubber band as much as possible. Right? If there's a string or a rubber band connecting this knee to this shoulder, it is not getting shorter. It's not maintaining the same length. It's stretching. Okay, so this knee has to be driven out the whole time. That's kind of just an external cue to give your athletes an idea of what to visualize during this exercise. But you have to keep your arms as straight as possible. All right, feet wide, knees out, eyes down. Peel that shoulder away from the knee. Peel the shoulder away from the knee. Keep the arms straight. Okay, standing band rotation. You're going to do both sides. That's day's one routine. Vertical jumps, overhead PVC press, dumbbell goblet squat, and standing band rotations.